Good afternoon, dear students. I am Abhishek, your biology teacher. Today I am here to give a demonstration lecture, demo lecture, for making the basis of further conversation. Students, the topic which I have selected today for demo lecture is related with the neural system. As an introduction, we should consider some facts that there are different types of systems, there are different types of organs which are performing inside our body for making convenient our lives. For example, there is digestive system, respiratory system, blood vascular system, and muscular system, skeletal system. All these systems perform in a synchronized manner. All these systems work together. There is no separation of their work. They work simultaneously. For example, digestive tract provide the respiratory substrate to the tissues. At the same time, blood vascular system along with the respiratory system provide oxygen for the combustion of for the oxidation of that particular food substrate which is provided by the digestive system. And what is the ultimate result of this process? The ultimate result is the production of energy, which form the basis of life. Energy is very essential for performing different types of activities. So there needs a very accurate synchronization or coordination between the different organs of our body. There are two major systems. One is neural system and other is endocrine system, which jointly in the synchronized manner coordinate between the all types of tissues and organs inside the body. So with the help of coordination, these organs perform according to the need of our body and make our survival successful. Now, a very short introduction of neural system. What is neural system? It is the system which is responsible for the three basic works, for the three basic functions. What are these functions which are performed by exhibited by the neural system? One is receiving, other is processing, and third one is responding. These are three keywords which are I think sufficient to introduce the nature of neural system. It is the system which is used to which perform receiving, processing and responding. Then receiving in which manner? Receiving in the manner that there are many changes which are taking place in our surrounding or inside our body. So from the help of which system we can sensitize this change. In case if we don't sensitize, if we don't feel any change, then we cannot respond. And what is the response? The response is the adaptation, and adaptation makes our survivalship is better, is successful. So it is very essential to feel the change. It is so what is the feeling of change can be summarized as the receiving. Now, inside the neural system, there are different parts which identify the nature of these changes. And this process of identification means which type of changes occurs. First thing is changes are taking place. Second thing is which type of changes are taking place. Whether it is rise in temperature or fall in temperature, rise in pressure, fall in pressure. What is the posture of our body according to movement of different objects or according to the movement of our body itself. So which type of changes is summarized as the processing, and after feeling and after the classification, after the typification, identification of change, we will respond accordingly, which is necessary for the survival, and that is known as responding. So there are three basic functions which are performed by the neural system: receiving, processing and responding. Now there are structures, there are several types of structures which are involved in the maintenance of neural system as well as in the functioning of neural system. What are these structures? The very important structure is neuron. The very important structure is cellular structure, microscopic cellular structure is termed as neuron. Neurons are considered as the structural and functional unit of neural system. This sentence explains that all the components of neural system and the functions which are performed by the components of neural system are basically performed by the neurons. So neurons are the microscopic excitable cells. What are the characteristics of neuron? Microscopic. Neurons are excitable cells. This property, excitable cells. So being excitable is required for the receiving, processing, and responding. If there is no excitation, there will be no feeling, and there will be no identification, and there will be no responding at all. Then, so it is the basic property of neurons. They are excitable in the nature. Neurons are considered as the structural and functional unit. You should consider it very carefully that neurons are structural and functional unit of neural system. Now, in short, we will describe the different parts of the neuron. To describe the different parts of the neuron, we will draw a small structure, and with the help of this structure, we will describe different parts. Now we are considered about the different properties of neural system. Now it is the neuron. Neuron is considered as the structural and functional unit of neural system. First of all, structure. Now structure is accompanied with the proper labeling. Labeling is must. Now it is the part cyton. Small processes, dendrite. Cyton is also considered as cell body. It is nucleus, nucleated cells, of course. Dendrite, longest process, thread-like. Axon, terminals. The terminals are also considered as the synaptic nerve. These are the covering myelin sheath, and there is a gap, node of Wrangler, structure of a neuron. On the basis of presence or absence of these parts, neurons can be said as multipolar, bipolar, unipolar. Now it is the structure of multipolar neuron. It is the structure of multipolar neuron. One more structure which we should label. There are special granular structures, Nissl granules. Now what we are saying that neurons are structural and functional unit of neural system. Microscopic, excitable, and there are, if we completely explain, there are three basic parts. One is cyton or cell body. Cell body is the part in which nucleus and other cell organelles present, which are required for the maintenance of this structure of neuron. Further, cytoplasm and nucleus. In the cytoplasm, special granular structures are also seen, which is known as Nissls granules. For the further information, you should remember that Nissls granules are made up of endoplasmic reticulum and ribosomes. And these are required. Nissl granules are required for the formation of essential necessary proteins. Nissl granules are present in cytol as well as dendrites. In axons, Nissl granules are absent. Remember that. Listen once more. Nissl granules are the structure which is required for which is responsible for the formation of essential proteins, which are required for the maintenance and functioning of neurons. Nissl granules are found in cyton and dendrite. Nissl granules are absent in the axon. From the surface of cyton, we are saying that there are small processes originating, which are known as dendrite. Dendrites convey the information from other neuron towards the cyton, and we are also observing that there is one point from where the longest branch, there is the longest thread-like structure is originating from a particular part of cyton. That longest process is termed as axon. The part of neuron from where this longest process originate is termed as axon hillock. This particular part from where this longest process is originating is known as axon hillock. One additional information we should consider here, that the axon hillock is considered as the most sensitive part. We said that previously. We said that the neurons are excitable cells. So in the light of this particular fact, we should also consider the fact that the axon hillock, the part of cyton from where the longest segment, the longest process of a neuron, which is known as axon, is originated, is known as axon hillock, and it is most sensitive part. The question can be made from this fact that which of the following is the most sensitive part of a neuron. So we should know that axon hillock is the most sensitive part of a neuron. So these three are basic structures of a neuron. Now, whether there are all neurons are provided with these structures, or there all the neurons in the body, all the neurons of a neural system are accompanied with all these structures? No, it is not true. There are variations, there are modifications on the basis of need or on the basis of developing stage of the life. We see that there is no particular stage which is permanently occur in the lifespan of a single individual. There are many changes which are taking place time to time. So there are changes also taking place in the structure of neurons also. So on the basis of a structural development, the neurons may be of different types. We see at a glance for a short note. There are different types of neuron on the basis of development of these three parts: cyton, dendrites and axon. Multipolar means one cyton and different dendrites, more than one dendrites. So that type of neuron will be considered as the multipolar. The most of the neurons in the human body, if we consider the human body as our syllabus said, there is if we consider the description of physiological processes like digestive and different systems, and then neural system, endocrine system, all this is the basic study of human physiology is required for the sake of this particular syllabus of NEET. Then in the light of that particular syllabus, we are discussing the basic salient features of human neural system. So in that case, there are most of the neurons are belong to this character, this particular category. Most of the neurons in our body are related with the multipolar type, and multipolar neurons are characterized by the presence of one cyton and many dendrites. For example, one example is mentioned as an example of multipolar neuron, that is cerebral cortex. Our brain, the forebrain, and the largest part of the brain is cerebrum, which is the part of forebrain. Cerebrum, which also form the roof of the brain cerebrum. So most of the neurons present in the cerebrum are belong to the multipolar type. Then other type is bipolar type. Bipolar type is the neuron in which cyton is provided with one dendrite and one axon. The example which is given in NCERT is retina of the eye. In the retina, the surface of the eye where image is formed is known as retina, and retina possesses bipolar neuron. The bipolar neuron is characterized by the cyton which is provided with the one axon and one dendrite. And third one is unipolar. Unipolar neuron, there is no dendrites, only cyton and axon is present. Yeah, we can say that there are no small processes, cyton is present and axon is present. That type of neurons is known as unipolar neuron, and in case of human body, if you are considering the presence of unipolar neuron, then the embryonic stage of human body, the embryonic stage of human body, the unipolar types of neuron are found. Further, one more so then this type of classification is based on the structure. There are more. There are several other types of also described in different types of textbooks. But when we consider the present text, then you should consider that the 85 to 90% of questions are directly taken from this direct statements of the NCERT. Then any topic which we will explain will be mainly based on the NCERT book. Also, it will contain the information of your textbook also, or state board book also. There will be no major differences between the explanation of any part of this particular subject. There will be no very much difference between the textbooks of your state book and NCERT, but still the points of NCERT are more important. Why? Because the questions, especially in case of biology, the questions are directly taken from the statements of NCERT nowadays. So we should consider that the different facts of NCERT as such. Though it was the one type of classification which was based on the structure, and there is another type of classification is also done on the basis of presence or absence of this particular covering, which is known as myelin sheath. For your information, you should consider that myelin sheath is made up of a phospholipid, conjugate lipid. It is an example of conjugate lipid, phospholipid. Then myelin sheath, if myelin sheath is absent, it is termed as non-myelinated. Also it can be termed as non-medullated. What are the characteristics and what are the features, what are the result of presence or absence of myelinated or non-myelinated? It is the other description. We are focusing only on the structure in the particular in the present segment. And if myelin sheath is present, then it is termed as myelinated or medullated. Further, these two types of classification. So it is based on the structure and it is based on the covering, presence or absence of myelin sheath covering. Now the terminal part is known as synaptic nerve, which make an association either with the muscles or with the part of other neurons also, and these structures are responsible. These structures are present in a typical multipolar neuron. Now we have to consider what is the basic mechanism of functioning of neural system, or in other words, you can also say that what is the basic functioning of neurons. How neurons make our neural system capable for receiving, processing and responding. Now this particular segment will be headed as the mechanism of origin and conduction of nerve impulse. Continue right now. Mechanism of nerve impulse origin and conduction. Now we will discuss about the nerve impulse origin and its conduction. It is the particular process, it is the mechanism of functioning of neuron. As we previously explained that the neurons are structural and functional unit of our neural system. Now, how they work, how they perform the process of receiving, processing and responding. Now we see that under the heading of mechanism of nerve impulse origin and conduction. Now for the beginning of explanation of this particular mechanism, we should consider some particular terms like polarized, depolarized and repolarized. Or polarization, depolarization and repolarization. These are the phases through which a neuron passes during the origin and conduction of a nerve impulse. Now, what is the impulse? Impulse is the product of stimulus. Stimulus is the change. The term stimulus explain the change which can occur in our surrounding, which can occur inside the body. So the term stimulus is related with the change, and impulse is the excitation of neuron. We said that when we were explaining the structure of neuron, we discussed that the neurons are structural and functional unit of neural system, and these are excitable cells. Now, what is the meaning of excitation? Excitation is particularly related with the origin of impulse. Now we see that there is a systematic graded process through which a neuron performs its basic function with the help of origin and conduction of nerve impulse. Polarized is the condition of rest. If it is said that a neuron is in polarized state. Now it represents the condition of rest. The condition of rest means that there is no stimulus. There is no stimulus in our surrounding or inside our body. There is no change at all. It is the condition of rest. For the polarized state, which phenomena occur? We discussed that the structure of a neuron with three basic parts: cyton and long thread-like part, axon, and then terminals. And on the surface of cyton, the dendrites. Now, the impulse origin and conduction takes place along the axon. It is the axon. The surface of axon is said to be axolemma. The surface of axon is said to be axolemma. It may be further myelinated or non-myelinated. Now, in the condition of rest, when there is no stimulus, there is a potential gradient maintained across the surface of axon or across the axolemma. What is this potential gradient? It is the change. It is the difference. It is the gradient. It is the difference in the concentration of different ions which make the origin of different types of charges on the outer surface and inner surface of axon. In the condition of rest, there is a continuous positive charge on the outer surface of axolemma and continuous negative charge on the inner surface of axolemma. This condition is known as polarized. On the outer surface, positive pole is maintained, and the inner surface of axolemma, negative pole is maintained. Now, what are the regions? There are three basic regions which are responsible for the maintenance of this uniform charge across the membrane, across the axolemma, outside positive and inside negative. Now, what are these factors? The first factor is permeability of axolemma. Permeability of axolemma. Permeability is related with the ability of membrane to allow the passage, allow the movement of any substance across the membrane. Now, we should know that, we should consider the fact that in the condition of rest, when there is no stimulus in the surrounding, when there is no change at all, then the axolemma is said to be polarized. Which factors are involved in the polarized state, in the maintenance of polarized state? First is permeability. There is more permeability for potassium ion and less permeability for sodium ion. It is this particular diagram is representing the condition of polarized state. Membrane permeability is more for potassium ion. Due to this fact, more permeability means passive transport. So, passive transport means from the higher concentration towards the lower concentration. We should note that the fluid, the medium outside the axolemma is termed as ECF, extracellular fluid, and the fluid inside the axolemma is termed as ICF, intracellular fluid. Then ICF is provided with the more potassium ion than the ECF, and ECF possesses more sodium ion than the ICF. Remember that very clearly. In the polarized state, in the state of rest, ICF possesses more potassium ion than the ECF, and ECF possesses more sodium ion than the ICF. Then you can say that there is no potential gradient, there is no difference in the distribution. Outside the sodium ion is more, and inside potassium ion is more. But what is the quantity of this abundance? Potassium ion is approximately 20 times more, and sodium ion is 10 times more outside. But there are two more factors which decide the positive and negative pole formation. What are these factors? Other is sodium potassium ion exchange pump. We said that, we discussed that at least there are three factors which are responsible for the maintenance of this polarized state of rest. First is uneven distribution of ions. Second one is sodium potassium ATPase pump, which provide the movement of sodium and potassium ion against the concentration gradient, which provide the, listen carefully, which provide the movement of sodium and potassium ion against the concentration gradient. Now, what will be the effect? Potassium ion is borrowed. Potassium ion migrate from ECF to ICF, and sodium ion migrate from ICF to ECF. And there is also gradient in the quantity of these moved ions, these moving ions. For every participation, for every operation of this particular pump, or every time, 2 potassium ion migrate from ECF to ICF, and 3 sodium ion migrate from ICF to ECF, and this process is happening, this process is occurring against the concentration gradient. Then any process which tend to happen against the concentration gradient, it will need the expenditure of energy. Now you should remember the point that sodium potassium ion exchange pump is an energy driven pump, which every time, for every one moment, it need 1 ATP. At one moment it cause the movement of 2 potassium ion towards the ICF and movement of 3 sodium towards the ECF, and every time it needs the expenditure of 1 ATP. You can say that it is the energy driven process. Any process which takes place against the concentration gradient, it will be active. So it is the active process. You can also say that the maintenance of polarized state or the maintenance of resting stage of the neurons is an active process, and it requires energy expenditure. Very strange fact. The polarized state, it is the polarized. Third factor is the presence of negatively charged protein inside the ICF in comparison of ECF. So these factors are responsible in the time of rest for maintenance of polarized state of this axon or axolemma or axon, at which the impulse have to be generated, or at which the excitable nature will be shown during the process of origin and conduction of nerve impulse. Now we will proceed towards the next step. As we discussed, the polarized state will maintain in the absence of stimulus, in the absence of change. Now what happens when any type of stimulus? So now, for example, which type of changes you can say the stimulus? The change in the pressure, the change in the temperature, the change in the our hungerness or thirst or presence or absence of any danger. All these things are considered as the stimulus. We are talking together, then voice is a stimulus. You are seeing me and I am observing your activities, you are seeing my activities, I am writing and you are observing. So all these happenings, the switch on and switch off of any fan or any bulb, so all these activities may be a stimulus. Any happenings which affect our neural system, or any activities which can be felt by us, are considered as the stimulus. So after the polarized state, what will happen? If there is a stimulus, if there is a change, then change can be received by any surface, and that particular organs which receive any type of change. For example, for eyes, we can feel the change in light. For with the help of ears, we can feel the change in the sound, we can hear the sound. So all this, we can feel the taste with the help of our tongue. So there are surfaces involved, and these are known as receptors. Any change, how or with the help of which structures these changes can affect us? With the help of receptors. Then receptors will counter with the stimulus. Receptor will counter with the stimulus, and in presence of stimulus, there will be a drastic change in the distribution of this particular ions. One thing you should also remember that when during explaining the polarized state, that the resting membrane potential is measured about minus 25 millivolt as a general information. You should remember. Otherwise, there is no numerical values are given in the NCERT book. But you should remember that resting membrane potential across the membrane is minus 25 millivolt. Now, stimulus act on the surface of receptors, and all the receptors are provided with the abundant supply of neurons. There is abundant supply of neurons. Abundance presence of axons are characteristic feature of any type of receptors. The abundance of receptors, more axons, more supply of neurons, the surface will be more sensitive. You can say that. Now, stimulus applied, and stimulus is applied on the surface of axon. Then there will be some changes. What changes will occur? The first of all, the permeability of potassium ion decreased. The potassium ion which was leaking in the polarized state continuously from inside to outside will be stopped in the presence of a stimulus. Then next thing, the sodium potassium pump which operated during the polarized state against the concentration gradient, it will also stop to work. It means that the loss of 3 sodium ion from ICF to ECF will be stopped in the presence of a stimulus. And third thing, which is the very important thing, that the permeability of sodium ion increased. Permeability of sodium ion increased, and a flood of sodium ion reached from ECF to ICF. Remember that. Flood of sodium ion reached, a large number of sodium ion move from ECF to ICF. Again, you should remember 3 factors during the presence of during the operating a stimulus on the receptors. And all these phenomena are pointed. All these phenomena are occurring at a particular place. For example, sound only can act on ear. Light only can act on eyes. Light cannot affect our ears, and sound cannot affect our eyes. And skin is affected by the touch. So all these are positional happenings. Further, then in the presence of stimulus, the sodium potassium ion stop to work. The permeability of potassium ion decreases, and sodium ion permeability increases. Only sodium ion permeability increases, and remember that passively sodium ion move ECF to ICF, but this permeability, the sodium ion permeability, is a transient phenomena, means it is a very short-lived process, and at that particular place where the stimulus act, the charge distribution drastically, completely reversed. It means that inside the axolemma, means in the ICF, inside the axolemma, there will be a positive charge, and outside the axolemma there will be a negative charge. In contrary to the positive charge on outside and negative charge inside the axolemma in the polarized state. What happened in the excitable state? What happened in the presence of stimulus? The polarity of the membrane completely reversed at the particular site of action of stimulus, and this resting membrane potential minus 75 millivolt will be changed to action membrane potential, which measures 0 millivolt or increases towards positivity. Increases towards positivity in the presence of stimulus, and all these activities are taking place at a particular part of axon, not all along the surface of axon, at a particular part of axon. Only at a particular part of axon these processes are taking place. This process are taking place. Further, membrane polarity has been changed, and now the membrane is said to be depolarized. And now the membrane is said to be depolarized, and this depolarized state is considered as impulse. Then you can also say that the depolarization leads to the origin of impulse. We are discussing about the nature of functioning of neurons, and there are particular 3 phenomena which we should consider when we are describing the mechanism of action of origin of nerve impulse conduction. These are polarized state, depolarized state, and again repolarized state. As we said that all these phenomena are transient, short-lived phenomena which taking place in the presence of stimulus. Now stimulus act and the polarized membrane will turn into the depolarized membrane. Polarized membrane turned into the depolarized membrane, and it is the cause of impulse generation. These processes, and now impulse has been originated, and now impulse proceeds forwards all along the surface of axons automatically. How? In the third diagram we will see that. We said that previously the permeability of sodium ion increased for a short period. After the action of stimulus, the sodium ion permeability lost, and again sodium ion start to move outside. Again, after a short period, the permeability for sodium ion is decreased. After the action of stimulus, the permeability for sodium ion is again decreased at the particular site of stimulus action. Again, membrane permeability increases for sodium ion. Again, sodium potassium pump start to operate, and sodium ion incoming is stopped after the action of stimulus. Now this phenomena results in the recurrence of polarized state, that is characterized by the maintenance of negative charge inside and positive charge outside the axolemma. Now it is repolarized. Now what is the effect of this particular depolarization and repolarization? One more diagram will explain it clearly. Now it was what happens actually when these changes are taking place during the action of stimulus. Then we said that these particular changes takes place at a particular part of axon only, at a particular part of axon only, and the further part of axon possess charge distribution as in polarized state. It means that negative inside and positive outside. Now what will happen when the charge distribution reverse in a particular part? It will affect the distribution charge in the nearby part. Say that it is the part A, it is the part B. Now we see that clearly due to the action of stimulus in the part A, inside positive, outside negative, and inside the part B, inside negative and outside positive. Then it is the tendency of current, it is the tendency of charges to flow from positive to negative, positive to negative. Then what will happen? At the site of action of stimulus, the reverse condition reoccur. That is considered as the repolarization. That is outside positive and inside negative. But in the next part, due to the migration of charges, in the next part, without the action of stimulus, that particular part, the further part of the proceeding part of axon will automatically be depolarized, and outside will be characterized by the negative charge and inside characterized with the positive charge. Then you can say that with the help of all this explanation, the impulse conduct in the form of alternate depolarization and repolarization, and this particular phenomena cannot stop before reaching the terminal part of neuron, which can terminate either in the muscular part or which can terminate in a particular part of brain, which is the part of brain are specified for the interpretation of different types of stimulus. So you can say that nerve impulse conduction. So you can say that nerve impulse conduction takes place. Nerve impulse conduction takes place in the form of depolarization and repolarization. Now it is depolarized, it is repolarized, and again it is depolarized, and in this manner it will tend to forward. Now what are the key points to explain the mechanism of nerve impulse origin and conduction? Presence of stimulus means change. Then a state of neuron, polarized, depolarized and repolarized. Polarized condition exists in the absence of stimulus, which is characterized by the outside continuous positive, inside continuous negative charge, and there are factors which maintain it. More permeability for potassium and working of sodium potassium ion exchange pump, and presence of negatively charged protein. Then stimulus act at a particular part of axon, and at that particular part sodium ion permeability, only sodium ion permeability increases, potassium ion leakage and potassium ion permeability has decreased, and sodium potassium ion exchange pump stopped its working. All these phenomena result in the generation of positive charge inside and negative charge outside at particular that part of axon where stimulus act, and that particular part is said to be depolarized, and depolarized nature is the impulse. Depolarized nature is also considered as the impulse. Now it is the impulse generation. What it in which phenomena it will result? It will result in the depolarization of further part of the axon and repolarization of the previous part of the axon where the actually stimulus was acted upon. Then the further parts of further part of axon is depolarized, and this process will continue up to the terminal part of the neuron. There is at the terminal part of neuron there will be a synapse, and synapse is the anatomical junction between the two neurons, and via the synapse there are chemical messengers which help in the transmission. At the surface of axon of one neuron, the process of origin and conduction takes place, and at the site of synapse, at the place of synapse, transmission of nerve impulse takes place, which mostly mediated by some chemicals which are considered as neurotransmitter. We will discuss it in later segments. Thank you.